Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about bushcraft knives and how to pick one out for you. If you've seen my channel before, I make a lot of videos and reviews on bushcraft knives, and we've done quite a few on the channel. Today I'm just going to take a little time and talk about what I look for and kind of maybe the top 5 things to look for on one. We're going to talk about why I've kind of landed on the one that I have. I think the two best blades for a bushcraft knife is probably a flat grind, and the number one I would say is probably the Scandi. This is mine. This is a Venture Sworn Classic. So I had this custom order made. I pretty much have settled to this knife as being my go-to bushcraft knife over quite a few. I carried some Kephart style ones, flat grinds, for many years, and the reason I'm switching to this, it's just a really good knife, and honestly, just for the blade symmetry of the Scandi, I think it's a lot better for splicing wood and batoning and stuff like that. If you've seen some of my other videos, in the winter, like when it's getting around this time, I do a lot of high mountain camping and backpacking and bushcraft, and I sometimes will either just sleep out on the ground, or I will take a wood burning stove and sleep with a bushcraft tent with a wood burning stove that's made for, you know, backpacking in that tent, and just batoning and splitting that wood for the wood burning stove is really critical for me, and the Scandi is just really good for doing that. And you know, that's kind of an important thing for me. So the second thing I would look for is figure out what type of handle style you like. I, for the longest time, have been drawn to the broomstick handles on like the LT Wright Genesis and stuff like that, but honestly, this is a Coke bottle style design. A lot of people prefer this. It's very popular. I shied away from it for a very long time until I got this knife. I was a little skeptical, but honestly, I think Adventure Sworn and how they have done it, it really works good, and I find it very comfortable. And just one of the things you want is you want a good knife that you can grip and get up on there for making, you know, stuff, making little spoons, whatever you need. If you have a knife you can really get up in there and get good control, that's the next thing. So figure out the handle style you want, because that's how you're going to be using the tool. Next, figure out the steel. Now honestly, I know a lot of people are going to get worked up at this, but for me, the steel really doesn't matter that much to me personally. You know, whether it's 01 tool steel or it's AEBL like this or whatever, you know, honestly, the steel, there's anything underneath the sun. Swedish steel, in my opinion, has seemed to be the best, you know, as far as just the tempering and the structural integrity of Swedish steel seems to be better. But overall, it doesn't really matter as long as you take care of the knife, you know how to sharpen it good, and you're just good at caring for your tool. But figure out the type of steel you want. So number 4, I would say, is the sheath. Now, depending on the type of sheath you want, whether it be a dangler, whether it be a close to the hip belt sheath like this one, I'll show you real quickly. This is what I prefer. A lot of guys, they like danglers. I don't like danglers. I like stuff that's right up on my hip and tight for moving around, you know, because most of the time I'm in uneven and really rugged environments in the snow or climbing up the side of a mountain. And for me, I want something really tight. I don't really want a dangler kind of flopping around, and it's easier for me to position this around belts and stuff like that on packs, so I'm more active. But if you are just somebody that's just gonna drive up, you do a lot of camping, you do a lot of, you know, and you do a lot of non-strenuous, you know, being out in the woods, you may find a dangler more practical for you. But for me that climbs mountains and stuff like that, I don't want something flopping around on my knife, wiggling around. So the 5th thing I would say is the handle material. I prefer paper micarta. I love white handle knives. The smoothness doesn't bother me. Some people feel like they're going to lose the knife if it's smooth. Maybe they want a grip texture. Overall, for me personally, I prefer something smooth and comfortable in my hand. As long as the knife is made correctly and contours really good to the hand, you're not going to drop it. So, you know, just those are my top 5 things on what I look for. You know, this is a very rudimentary video, so if you're new to getting into knives, you want a bushcraft knife, those are the main things that I think, if you're coming from absolutely nothing, to look for. You know, a bonus would be having a good 90-degree spine for striking a fire is definitely an important thing. Another added honorable mention, make sure it has a good lanyard hole. I like to have a little lanyard on the back just enough. Sometimes if I'm doing crazy stuff, I'll put my pinky in it just to kind of secure the knife a little bit, so if I drop it, I still have my pinky in it. But you know, to each their own. So just a quick little video I want to make on how to find and pick out a bushcraft knife and what is some of the more popular key features a lot of people look for, including myself. So if you found this a good entry-level how-to, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. I have some more advanced stuff on my channel and adventures and vlogs for backpacking and bushcraft stuff. So if you like that stuff, go on and watch it. And we'll see you on the next video.
Of all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of a wit to memory now I can't recall.
Good boy.
So fell to me
Okay, go.
the parting glass. Good night and joy.